Right, glasses off. This is serious. Right, hello there. Some of you may know who I am, but for those who don't, my name is John, otherwise known as Harworth. I am the creator behind Gydran Studio, and I am the principal manager of it all. I create any artwork that comes through it, mostly. I think it's been like a 6 to 8 pieces of artwork that have been created by other people in the past. And that's way back at the beginning of Gydran Studio. There have been like a handful of models that have been created by other people, but pretty much everything that's actually been sculpted, designed, or any creative ideas that have come through Gydran Studio have come from inside this head of mine. So I used to put videos up all the time. Or I say all the time, at least like once every other week, if not sometimes weekly. And I used to do live streams, and I used to used to engage a lot with the audience of Gydran Studio, which was Gydran Miniatures at the time, then became Gydran Miniature Studio, and then became Gydran Studio. And there's a reason for that progression as well, which I might get to later on. Now, bear with me because this is a stream of thought video. This is not planned out. I haven't got any lyrics. It's a song. No, I have not got any words planned out. I just have a bit of an idea of what I want to say, and it's to talk about Gydran Studio essentially, and what we have created, what I am creating, and where I want to take this. Now, before I started Gydran Studio, I was an independent filmmaker, and worked as freelance as well. While I did some model making work, did some animation puppet making, some prop making. I also did some quartermaster work and assistant producing work for some productions, as well as actually directing my own productions as well. And that was all fun. And then I got ill, and I kind of like stepped away from it by not by choice, but it's actually just out of that I didn't have any choice but to step away. And then when I was getting better, I created what was originally Raging Dwarf Miniatures as a way to get myself back into things. Then from Raging Dwarf became Gydran with an I, and then over the time progressed to being Gydran Studio. And the progression came because I wanted to not just be at the time I wanted to just create miniatures, and I then eventually came to actually wanted to make my own tabletop war game, and then scaled that back to a skirmish game, and still wanted to create miniatures, sci-fi miniatures, some fantasy miniatures. I've actually kind of modelled and sculpted more fantasy miniatures than I've actually ever released. And in fact, there's actually how many are waiting up there to be finished and released? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe 7 fantasy models at the top in my little bookcase, or so my little display case of things I'm working on, which have not been released, along with some more releases for Gnomes. And for any of you who don't know what Gnomes is a small skirmish game based in a world I've created called Gnome Horde Sagas, and it's basically a skirmish game. It's available from the website at Gydran.studio, and I'm looking to just expand on it bit by bit over the years. Gydran's not a big corporation. Basically, when you're looking at Gydran Studio, you're looking at me. Like so many other small business owners, or people who actually have like cottage businesses or hobby businesses, which is basically what Gydran has become now. At one point in time, Gydran was my full-time job, but I had to step back due to, without getting too political, due to Brexit, and then also because of coronavirus. and other things that were happening in my family. We had a couple of members of family which are no longer with us, and um, all these things and changes in my life made it so that I had to step away. It's been one of the reasons why I stopped doing the videos that I used to do all the time. And if any of you watching this now are people who used to watch my videos and used to interact with me, then you'll know that I just disappeared. Really, and I kept on trying to do videos saying, "This is the reason why I've not been doing stuff. Oh, no, I'm coming back, etc. It's gonna be great to move forward. Yeah, yeah, this is great fun." But reality was, I was trying to force myself to do that. And this video is not me talking about going to be doing lots more videos into the future. I mean, I'd like to do more videos. I'd like to actually be able to come back to Gydran full time, but as it is at this moment of time, I have a full-time job, and then Gydran is my hobby business. But I would love to actually be able to do this again full time, but there's a lot of work and a lot of money is involved in doing it, and I have other priorities these days. Um, so, I mean, yeah, that's enough of that. So why am I making this video? Um, well, I want to talk about where I'm actually kind of going with Gydran. For me, it would be a massive shame to see Gydran disappear, and it's not going to. It's not going to anytime soon. Even if it ends up being like a hobby business I do from now until the day I die, it will be here in some form, shape, or size. But the reason why actually changing the name of the business from Gydran Miniatures to Gydran Studio to Gydran Studio eventually was because I wanted it to be truly what it is. Now, the word Gydran is actually not pronounced Gydran; it's pronounced Hydran. I believe that's the right way to pronounce it. It's a Welsh word. And I lived in Wales for 13 years, and I love the Welsh people, and I love the Welsh language. And I tried to learn bits and pieces, but all I can remember now is Hoffi Coffee, Diolch yn fawr, Achavi, and Kuch. And those are fantastic words to remember. Um, but yeah, no. So with the word Hydran meaning component, I wanted that's what I wanted Gydran to be, and that's why I changed the name from Gydran with an I, which is named after the Gydran horse, which is kind of like a racing horse. I changed it from that to being the word for component in Welsh because that's what I wanted the studio to be. I wanted it to be something that was just more than just making miniatures and more than just making games. Now, I had Breaching the Rift, which was my sci-fi skirmish game that I was working on for years, and unfortunately, last year I was about ready to release the rules out for free for people, and this is a lesson for anybody out there. Never rely on your web hosting provider to actually be the repository where you hold all your information. Now, unfortunately, the Breaching the Rift domain suffered majorly when it got hacked, and basically everything was written over by the hackers. They basically took the entire website down and put up a knockoff Chinese electronics website, which when I found that out, I went straight in, shut it all down, and tried to find out what I could salvage. And unfortunately, I just done a massive amount of work on the actual rule set, but I'd actually all done it online. And I was kept on saying to myself, "Oh, I'll back it up later, back it up later," and stupidly, I didn't. So I lost all this massive changes I actually made to the rules to actually make it what would have been something I was very proud of. And unfortunately, there's not really any way to get that information back. I spoke to the hosting provider, and they were like, "Well, there's nothing we can actually do about it, unfortunately." So yeah, the game Gydran, the only version of the game I've actually got is a 2022 version of the game, and I will be at some point tidying that up and just releasing that as it is for people for free, so you can come onto the website, create an account, and download the actual game that you can actually use our miniatures for. You can use miniatures from anywhere else. I say us as a the royal we, but at the end of the day, it's just me. So there's a lot of playtesting that had been done to actually kind of get the game to be in a more decent state than it actually was. And unfortunately, all that information is gone because it's, once again, all done through the website. I was trying to create a completely paperless environment and have it so it's all done online so I can access it at any point in time. And yeah, it it died. It's the best way to describe it. It died. So for so hang on, it wasn't. Yeah, it was the so that happened in the I think it was February or March, 2023. And at that point in time, I'd already started to create gnomes, but I got so disheartened by the fact that it happened that I stopped creating anything. I stopped creating gnomes, stopped creating the game. I mean, there's still, and I just for a couple of months I did nothing. I was just almost felt like jacking everything in because I felt violated by these people who destroyed my creative endeavors that I've been working hard on for a long, long time. Um, but after a couple of months, I mean, let's say it had not been too long since my mother had passed away. Really, she passed away in the July in 2022, and so I was still quite raw in my head from that. So I felt like in a really really low place, and um, but I bounced back a couple of months later, and I was like, no, yeah, forget this. I'm just not letting somebody else being a douchebag to stop me from doing it. So I carried on creating gnomes. I put Breach in the Rift on the shelf. Thought that's so much work that needs to be done to try and bring it back and to make it what it was supposed to be. It's just like too much work. I can't deal with that right now. So I just took the idea that I'd actually kind of had with gnomes, got a couple of my friends in to play test it, went through it, and I blitzed it. Just blitzed it because I just like I have to get my creative mojo back. I have to actually kind of like not allow somebody else and their douchebaggery to stop me from doing something I love and something I can like enjoy doing. And that's the whole thing with the miniature side of things. It's something I enjoy doing. Sculpting the miniatures, creating the miniatures, creating the background to the miniatures, creating the story world that they actually live in. It's something I absolutely love. So yeah, I I did that. I created gnomes, and then on the 1st of February this year, so 2024, I released the game. After playtesting it with a small group, and I released it as what can only be described as a garage game. So like you'd have garage kits for models. This is like a garage kit for games. So still got like proper printed cards, models sculpted by myself, apart from one which is sculpted by a colleague of mine and a friend called Jose. He sculpted one of them, but I had to modify it slightly for the game because of casting, because I wanted them all to be cast as one piece models. Because doing them 3D printed, doing them in 3D wasn't an option because there was not the time to actually do it. And my 3D printer at the time, it's that over there, it's only a Photon S. It's not a challenge of doing it for like full on release. Although I've got somebody who I know who's actually quite happy to be doing the printing for me, who's got like a pro level printer who will be hopefully do some more work for me going forward, printing out the models if I don't get hold of a 3D printer for myself to actually do more pro work. Which I'll talk about 3D models in a bit. But I don't want to be doing this video for too long because yeah, people get bored. It's already been like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, something like that. So anyway, I want to kind of move Gydran forward. I want to do more than just create miniatures and more than just create games. I want to create narratives. I want to create stories. And this is something that I've always been about, is about stories. So I'm trying to do that. And as well as, Breach in the Rift is always going to be there. It's always going to be love. I've been creating Breach in the Rift since I was 12. I'm old now, as you can tell. I'm old. I've got grey everywhere now. Don't. So I know some of you going, oh yeah, grey everywhere. But yeah, no, I have got grey everywhere. And it's always about the narrative, always about telling stories, always about creating story worlds. And so Breach of the Rift has been like this big thing that's not going to stop. I mean, there was a book that was written by it about it, or about some characters from the world. Pardon me. Called Shadow Radiance, written by a author called Peter Graham, and with my massive amount of my input and me kind of saying this is what the story I want the story to be. Let's work together. Let's create a story. You can write it, and I'll yay nay these big things you're going to do, and make sure it fits into the world and the narrative for the entire world. So that's what we did, and we created it, and tried to promote it. It didn't go too well, because I'm not GW. Let's be honest. I'm not GW. I never tried to be GW. Never would try to be GW. But it's all about the storytelling for me. I studied animation at university, and animation is something that I absolutely love. Some of my favourite animators, obviously Hayao Miyazaki. Loads of people love him. I love him as well. Although strictly not an animator, but a creator of animated films, although he's a surrealist. Jan Svankmajer is one of my favourites. I love a lot of anime, being the fact that Pat Labor, Ghost in the Shell, Appleseed, whatchamacallit, Proxy, Ergo Proxy. Some of these animations are some of my favourite series that have been created, and some of them actually kind of knock the socks off a lot of the contemporary things that are created now, because they're much more visceral. They're much more something much more, dark, and you can get your teeth into with them. They don't just show this like perfect utopia, but at the same time they don't show this massive, grim dark is the best way to describe it, world, which is what GW is well known for. And if some of you don't know who GW is, that's Warhammer. So that's Games Workshop, just in case you didn't know, because I don't know how some people just don't know who GW are or not, who listen to this video. Who knows? Some people don't even know what what those dial phones are called. What are they called now? I've forgotten they're called now. Yeah, we used to have them when we were kids. The big phones with the big handles. You put them to your ear, and they have the big dials on to go each number individually. Rotary phone. There we go. That's what it's called. Rotary phones. A lot of people don't know what one of those is, and I find that absolutely incredulous. But anyway, that's me once again showing my age. I go off on tangents. I do warn you. So, warning you now, like towards the end of the video. So yeah, I'm still going to be carrying on doing that. How I'm actually going to go ahead and do it, I don't know. As in, I don't know how I'm going to bring it to an audience. I thought about doing YouTube. It's a lot for me to do, with my full-time job. I do have a Patreon for Gydran, which I haven't posted anything up in the last month and a half, but that's because I've actually just been busy with my work and other things in my life. So I've not been able to catch up with doing that since releasing the Gnomes game. I've been doing stuff since then, but and I have been putting stuff up on Instagram, but Instagram's not really a place to actually do like the full-on type of narrative storytelling I'm going to do. So I'm going to try and focus on the Patreon platform for now, from a textual sounds kinky. Why I said that, I don't know. From a text-based format and with images and background. Now, there is, apart from Gnomes and Breach and Rift, there's another world that I have been creating over the last, God knows how many years it is now, for quite some time. And I've put it on the shelf, taken it off, put it on the shelf, taken it off, put it on, taken it off. And I am currently kind of going through some of the ideas for that narrative world, and how I'm going to approach that I don't know, but something that some of you may know, but majority of people probably don't, is that when I did my degree in animation, I created a little story, along with a friend of mine at the time, called Swinshire. Now, I'd already created the world of Swinshire, and the stories behind it. Had a character called Howarth, which is where my nom de plume came from, being John Howarth for productions, etc. Is what I used to use instead of my real name. So still taking John, but using the last name Howarth. Um, but Howarth is always how I've actually signed my artwork for ever since probably about 2001ish. So Howarth ended up becoming me, and some people started calling me Howarth. So I just carried on going with Howarth, and so it became me. But I still use it anyway. So that probably doesn't make much sense. But but I had this thing called Harris Life, which was some comics that I used to put up online when I had the Was This Reality kind of website many years ago, and I kept on putting like story ideas up, kept on putting comic books up, etc. I kept on exploring different ways of actually telling the story about these characters in this county called Swinshire, or Swinshire as it would be pronounced, because once again it's a Welsh word, Swin, mean magic shire. So basically, I got names, got Breach in the Rift. I got this Swinshire story, which I am currently penning out a new story for this, and the format which it's going to come to might actually be another animation, but I've got to look at the feasibility of that, and it's just something which is in development at this moment in time. So I don't mind talking to people about that, because I just don't mind at all. But this other one I'm keeping kind of under my hat at the moment, because it's a completely different universe, completely separate to Breach in the Rift, completely separate to the Gnomes universe, completely separate to Swinshire, and I'm not ready to talk about it yet. But I am got all these story ideas. I mean, these just fall out of like a huge amount of universes and story ideas and little miniature, small stories within the universes I've created that I've got penned out from start, middle to end, and from computer game ideas to comic book ideas, animations, to novels, all sorts. But it's a matter of having to actually prioritize which one I do first. And at this moment in time, it's just me. So my idea is to actually kind of carry on creating Gydran Studio and creating the miniatures and the miniatures world, and creating the world of gnomes, or gnome hold sagas. But then working on these other ideas I have into the future to expand the story worlds that I'm creating. So I am just kind of hoping that basically, I mean, I've been prattling on for too long now, 23 minutes, I think. So I do apologize for that, for starters, but I hope you guys can come and join me going forward to creating more stories and creating more worlds. If you've got any questions, please, by all means, contact me. You'll be able to find it in the description of this video. You'll be able to find out where you can contact me, such as like on Instagram, via the Facebook page, even by YouTube. I'll try and respond to people if they are actually interested in talking to me about what I'm going to produce. Yeah, I don't know. This could go somewhere. This could lead nowhere. We never know unless you actually give it a chance to actually kind of move forward and step forward. So, I'm not too sure where this video is going to be. It might actually just be a straight to Patreon video. It could be something I end up putting up the Facebook page. It could be something I end up putting on the website, on the one that you can see in the background here, which is the Gydran Studio website. It could be something that I end up just I put up on YouTube. I don't know. It's moments in time, but yeah. So that's where I've been, what I've been doing, why I've not been doing videos for many years, why Gydran has not had many publications over the years on the YouTube channel, why I've not been doing live streams or kind of like hangouts and stuff, and why I've not even been that too active on the Discord server as well, because that's another thing that's kind of fallen by the wayside due to everything that's been going on. So I hope you can join me. I hope I can kind of like start bringing my stories back to the world and start to show you what I'm creating. I mean, get a chance to go to Gydran.studio, have a look at the website. You can, I'll just quickly show you around. Forgetting all the miniatures, let's go to more. We've got miniature archives. Come down the bottom here. You can find out stuff about Gydran on the website. You can find more about gnomes on here. So it's a bit more information. Going up here, across, find out more about Sarkasson. More information. Sarkasson, that's basically breaching the rift. Find out more information about it. You can follow. You can go over to Instagram and have a look at all the posts up on Instagram. You find out more from there. Go onto the Facebook page, find out more information about everything Gydran's created from that page. And yeah, let's see what you guys think of the worlds I'm going to create for you. So, never know how to actually finish these videos. So I'm going to say, see you later. I'll speak to you soon. Ta-da! Ta-ra for now. And yeah, catch you in the next update. Okay? Or next video. Take care, guys.